My name is Mia, and I will never forget the craziest adventure I ever had in Roblox. It all started when I joined a game called Prison Escape. One moment I was staring at the game menu, and the next I appeared inside a prison cell with gray walls, a metal bed, and thick bars blocking the exit. A message flashed across my screen: "Escape the prison." At first I thought it would be easy. I walked around the cell, checking every corner. The guards outside looked very serious, and every time I approached the bars, they stared at me suspiciously. I searched the bed, the walls, and even the tiny sink, but I couldn't find anything useful. Just when I was about to give up, I noticed that one floor tile looked different from the others. It was slightly cracked and a little darker. Curious, I clicked on it. To my surprise, the tile slid open with a loud clunk, revealing a hidden tunnel beneath the floor. My eyes widened with excitement. This was my chance. I quickly jumped into the tunnel before any guards could notice. The passage was dark and dusty, and tiny lights flickered along the walls. I crawled forward through twists and turns, wondering who had built such a secret route. After several minutes, I reached a ladder. I climbed up carefully and pushed open a hatch above me. Suddenly, I found myself inside the prison cafeteria. The room was empty, but before I could celebrate, a loud alarm echoed through the building. Red lights flashed everywhere. The guards had discovered I was gone. My heart raced as I dashed toward the exit. This was no longer just a game. It felt like a real adventure. I ran through long hallways while alarms blared behind me. Guards shouted, "Stop right there!" But I had no intention of stopping. I turned a corner and spotted a maintenance room. Quickly, I slipped inside and closed the door. While catching my breath, I noticed a large air vent on the walls. It looked like another secret path. I removed the cover and climbed inside. The vent was narrow and noisy, but it kept me hidden from the guards. After crawling for what felt like forever, I reached an opening overlooking the prison yard. I dropped down and landed safely on the grass. The yard was huge, surrounded by tall fences and watchtowers. Spotlights swept across the ground, making escape seem impossible. As I wondered what to do next, another player approached me. His name was Max. He wore a blue hoodie and looked just as determined as I felt. "Are you trying to escape too?" he asked. When I nodded, he smiled and showed me a map. According to him, there was a secret route through the sewers beneath the prison. It sounded disgusting, but it was better than getting caught. Together, we sneaked behind some bushes and found a hidden hatch. The moment we opened it, a terrible smell drifted upward. "Freedom smells awful," I joked. Max laughed, and we climbed down into the darkness. The sewers were a maze of tunnels filled with dripping water and rusty pipes. We followed the map carefully, taking turns at intersections and avoiding dead ends. The deeper we went, the more nervous I became. Something about the tunnels felt strange. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the darkness. Max and I froze. The growl came again, louder this time. Then two glowing eyes appeared in the shadows. Before we could react, a giant sewer rat stepped into view. It was enormous, bigger than a car. We screamed and ran as fast as we could. The giant rat chased us through the tunnels, splashing through the water and snapping its sharp teeth. Every time I looked back, it seemed closer. Max jumped over a broken pipe and I followed right behind him. We raced through twists and turns, desperately searching for an exit. The rat knocked over barrels and smashed through obstacles as if they were made of paper. "Faster!" Max shouted. I didn't think I could run any faster, but somehow I did. Finally, we spotted a ladder leading upward. We climbed as quickly as possible while the giant rat lunged toward us. Its teeth missed my shoe by only a few inches. We reached the top and slammed the hatch shut. For several seconds, we lay on the ground, breathing heavily. Then we started laughing. We couldn't believe we had survived, but our journey was far from over. Ahead of us stretched a rocky canyon filled with dangerous obstacles. According to the map, crossing the canyon would take us beyond the prison security zone. The path was filled with narrow platforms hanging above deep gaps. One wrong step could send us falling. Carefully, we jumped from rock to rock. We crossed swinging bridges and balanced on thin wooden beams. At one point, I nearly slipped, but Max grabbed my arm and pulled me back to safety. Together, we continued climbing higher and higher until we reached the top of a steep cliff. From there, we could finally see the prison far behind us. It looked tiny in the distance. "We actually made it this far," I said. Max grinned. "Nothing can stop us now." Unfortunately, he spoke too soon. A loud siren echoed across the canyon. We turned around and saw a police car speeding toward us. The guards had called for backup. Dust flew behind the vehicle as it raced closer. My heart sank. We had escaped the prison, survived the sewers, and crossed the canyon only to be chased again. Max and I sprinted down a winding road while the police car followed close behind. The officers shouted through a loudspeaker ordering us to stop. We ignored them and kept running. The road stretched endlessly ahead, and I began to wonder if we would ever escape. Then, in the distance, I noticed something incredible. On top of a small hill stood a helicopter. Its blades were slowly spinning as if it were waiting for us. I pointed excitedly. "Look!" Max stared at it in disbelief. "That's our way out." We ran toward the helicopter as fast as we could. The police car was getting closer every second. When we reached the aircraft, I pulled open the door and jumped into the pilot's seat. Max climbed into the passenger seat. There was only one problem. I had never flown a helicopter before. "Do you know what you're doing?" Max asked nervously. "Not really," I admitted. He looked worried, but there was no time to think. I pressed buttons, pulled levers, and somehow managed to start the engine. The blades spun faster and faster. Dust swirled around us. The officers arrived just as the helicopter began lifting off the ground. They waved their arms and shouted, but it was too late. Higher and higher we rose until the police car looked like a tiny toy below us. I laughed with excitement. We had done it. We were finally escaping. The helicopter flew smoothly through the sky, carrying us farther away from the prison than I had ever imagined. Below us, forests stretched across the landscape, rivers sparkled in the sunlight, and cities looked like miniature models. The view was amazing. For the first time all day, I felt completely free, no fences, no guards, no alarms, just endless sky. After flying for a long time, we spotted a beautiful island surrounded by crystal clear water. Palm trees swayed gently in the breeze, and colorful flowers covered the ground. It looked like the perfect place to land. I carefully guided the helicopter downward. The landing was a little bumpy, but we made it safely. As soon as we stepped outside, we cheered. We had escaped the prison and reached freedom. Max and I spent the rest of the day exploring the island. We discovered hidden caves, collected treasure chests, and even built a small camp near the beach. As the sun began to set, the sky turned orange, pink, and purple. We sat on the sand and watched the waves roll onto the shore. Looking back on everything that had happened, I realized how incredible the adventure had been. We had escaped from a prison cell, crawled through secret tunnels, outrun guards, survived a giant sewer rat, crossed a dangerous canyon, escaped a police chase, and flown away in a helicopter. Every challenge had seemed impossible at first, but we never gave up. That was the most important lesson of all. Sometimes adventures are scary. Sometimes obstacles seem too big to overcome. But if you stay brave, keep trying, and work together with friends, amazing things can happen. As darkness settled over the island, Max smiled and asked, "What adventure should we have next?" I looked toward the horizon where the stars were beginning to appear. Somewhere out there, another Roblox adventure was waiting for us. Maybe it would involve hidden treasure, mysterious islands, or secret castles. Whatever it was, I knew one thing for certain: I would be ready. With a smile on my face and the sound of the ocean around me, I watched the stars twinkle above and felt proud of everything we had accomplished. Our prison escape was over, but our adventures were only just beginning.